All right, so this is a video we've been meaning to do for quite a while now, and we're going to try to run through it pretty quickly because we know a lot of people come looking for best or fun or quality builds for all of these different killers. And really, what they want to do is be able to listen to a quick explanation if they don't understand the build, or basically just pull a screenshot and be able to copy over the build and test it out themselves. So, what we're going to do is we're going to run through our opinions on some of the best builds for every single one of the killers, just from our gameplay, our own experiences, and then also we've stolen quite a few ideas from other content creators that we saw and we're like, wow, that works amazing. We want to try that out as well. So what we'll try to do is give the perks, quick explanation. We'll go over add-ons if there's some critical add-ons, and then a lot of times if we go with any add-ons like this that are ultra rare or very rare, we'll try to offer either a build that utilizes easier to get add-ons or just some alternative add-ons that you could run until you kind of stock up on what you need. So without any further ado, we're gonna jump into this with the Trapper. And honestly, you can mix this build up a little bit if you were going for a basement Trapper kind of build, but general, overall, useful Trapper build, we love this one. Right, what you have here is you have Corrupt Intervention. It blocks those 3 generators furthest from you for 120 seconds. This pushes them into you, away from gens. They're not jumping on gens, cranking them out right away, and it just gives you some time to set up. With Trapper, you need time to set up, and this gives you a little bit of that at the beginning of the game. And then our second perk is Deadlock, and that just, again, helps slow down the gens, buy you a little bit of time while you set up, and get things kind of rolling. We have No Way Out. Trapper's one of the best killers at playing in the end game, so adding a little bit extra time for you to kind of carry out your plan in the end game is just amazing, right? Trapper has the ability to trap the exit gates, right? So you can delay there even longer, keep them from maybe even triggering No Way Out right away. So lots of cool things you can do there, and it just buys you just extra time in the game. And then our last perk here is Save the Best for Last, which is just one of those perks that you gain stacks for hitting non-obsessions. Couldn't talk there, apologize. And it just speeds you up, right? It allows you a little bit more chase potential there. So very solid build, does a little bit of everything, right? We got some slowdown, kind of some setup time, and then we've got one chase perk, and then the other big part of your kit obviously is the traps. We like the Trapper Sack, so you get all of your traps in the beginning. Downside is you can't pick any of them up, and then the Iridescent Stone resets your traps, so you just don't have to go around gathering up your traps, and you don't have to reset them. So this kind of just takes a lot of the tedious work away from you, so you can concentrate on chase a little bit more. If you don't have these, Trapper has some other good add-ons. It's really a matter of what you want. There's some that when they disarm a trap or free themselves, it injures or downs them. There's kind of a lesser Trapper bag there. I'm trying to think of some other ones that we kind of like. The one that just take time to disarm adds 50% extra time. That adds up over the course of the game. So definitely a build we recommend. Our favorite build on Trapper, and mainly the only one that we do play. We mix up the add-ons, but this build is tried and true, and it's one we highly recommend. So hopping over to our next killer, we have the WRAITH, and as you'll see, this I think is our only green perk in the layout today in the best builds segment that we're doing here, just because we don't play WRAITH a lot. We have started playing them more. This update's been very kind to WRAITH, and that perk should change very shortly here. But what we recommend is one of kind of 2 builds here. We'll go over kind of what the plan is. Really what we like is to bring these 2 add-ons. We'll start there because that's the most important. Blind Warrior, basically Sloppy Butcher in an add-on form. Inflicts Mangled Hemorrhage until they're healed. Then we also like the Uncloaking Speed add-ons, the Swift Hunt. There's one at every different rarity tier, so you need a green, and then whatever you have here, it'll help out when it comes to the Swift Hunt add-ons. And then the plan here is that you're keeping them mangled, hemorrhaged, so that way they're injured, easier downs, you can move around the map stealthy and fast. In this build, we have a Nurse's Calling, which helps you find them when they're injured, get those easy downs. We're running Discordance here just to provide some information so we kind of know where to pressure survivors. And then we have an old school combo of Hex Ruin and Pop Goes the Weasel. Hex Ruin provides the early game regression as you're chasing them off of gens, and then Pop's there for once Hex Ruin eventually gets cleansed. So this has worked out very well for us. And honestly, what you can do with this one is, if you don't feel like you need discordance, you don't need that information on where to go, this could just be 3 slowdown perks, and that's absolutely fine. Or you could go 2 slowdown perks, and you can go another chase perk. Bamboozle is kind of one that we recommend, and these could be something like No Way Out and any number of other slowdown perks, Jolt. So the second build here kind of shows that in effect, right? Instead of a Nurse's Calling, we're going Bamboozle for Chase. If we're not finding that we're getting a ton of value out of a Nurse's Calling, you might want to swap it off. Bamboozle can help you shut off those vaults and end those chases real quick. Then we've just got Corrupt, we've got Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, and we've got Jolt, just 3 slowdown perks. So really you got to decide, do I want Nurse's Calling? Do I want Bamboozle? Am I trying to find people? Or am I trying to speed up my chases? Discordance can work in there as well. Sometimes I like Discordance over Corrupt Intervention. It all depends. If you're getting fast downs, Corrupt loses its value. But it is early game slowdown, and Discordance can kind of work to show you where the survivors are right away, so you can push them off of gens. So again, it's one of those ones where it's personal preference. They both can be good. So really going 3 gen perks, and then 1 extra perk wherever we want, and the add-ons stay the same. You have the nice combo with a Nurse's Calling and Blind Warrior, but if that's not really working for you, you're not seeing the value, then you can go with something else like Bamboozle. So really straightforward there. Wraith excels at pressuring gens, moving around the map, so you take advantage of that with some regression, and then just buy yourself some time to get those downs. We'll leave them both up there in case anyone want to grab some screenshots, but we'll keep plugging away. Hillbilly, we like to keep Hillbilly pretty simple, right? The Doom engravings, or I guess the dual engravings, the Doom and the Death engravings, are kind of known to be his best. Low pro chains can be good as well. Sometimes the boots can be good for turn speed and things like that. So really whichever add-ons you have and you want to use, but we keep it simple. We've got some slowdown, right? Slowdown just to draw the game out. Tinkerer gives a little bit of stealth and tells us where to go, and then Bamboozle just helps with the biggest issue for the Chainsaw Bros, which is windows, right? You can go right through pallets, you can shred pallets, but windows can give you some trouble. So Bamboozle it, push them to the next loop, clear out all those pallets, and then you're in good shape. Look at the wrong next button there. So Nurse is the next one, and with Nurse, especially with the changes, we used to like to get a little creative with some of the insta-down perks. Those don't work on Nurse anymore. No more basic attacks, no more exposed. So we go real simple here. You'll see this build on a number of our powerful killers. You got double info perks, double gen perks. So you got lethal, start out knowing where they're at, get there early, get in the chase right away. Pairs well with barbecue to get that extended aura reading when you do down and hook someone. And then we've just got slowdown that doesn't involve kicking gens or doing anything else. It just happens as the survivors do gens, and then as you hook survivors, boom, you've got some extra time in the end game. So straight to the point, nice and easy, simple. We like the dark signature and the wooden horse, just decreasing time and increasing movement speed. So decreasing fatigue and movement speed, just making Nurse feel a little bit better to get around with. Hunters, again, you'll see the same build, right? This is one that gives us some nice information to go for some long shots, lets us know where to go pressure next, and just some slowdown. We admittedly are not a great long shot kind of Huntress player. We're practicing them, we're working on them, not great with them. If that's your forte, then some more info perks, more aura reading perks could be better, so you can just be a sniper all around the map. But we like the nice balance between info and slowdown here, and then any of the add-ons that bring extra hatchets and decrease wind-up time or move you a little bit faster when you have the hatchet out. Those will work out just fine. So the shape is an interesting one, and we're actually going to share a couple builds here just because you can play the shape many different ways. This is by far our favorite just generic build for the shape if we're going to be leveling up multiple times. No infinite kind of shenanigans, no tombstone pieces. You've got Corrupted Bison Time to stalk along with Deadlock to slow things down. Bamboozle to shut down those vaults and get those downs, and then Infectious just to maximize each tier 3 and try to snowball a little bit. And you got the Hairbow, which increases the duration of tier 3, even though you got to do a little bit more the first time around. And then you have the Dead Rabbit, which is basically just decreasing or increasing your terror radius as necessary. Decreases so you can stalk, increases it so you can get those screaming survivors when you're snowballing. Then if we are going with some sort of scratched or vanity mirror, we really like something along these lines. Modern abuse obviously pairs well with the vanity mirror just to hide us a little bit better, save the best for last, to kind of speed up our actions, corrupt to buy us time. We like jolt there. This could disappear if you're going with the scratched mirror, and it could be something along the lines of like play with your food just to give you that extra speed so you can actually do something useful. And then instead of the dead rabbit, you could go with the increased lunge for evil within tier 1. And then our other option, which is the best option on Myers, but again, a lot of people don't like this, is the tombstone piece, not the iridescent tombstone, the tombstone piece, and Judith or J. Myers Memorial. So this increases the rate that you stalk. And this allows you to kill someone by hand when you've gotten to tier 3. So basically use the combination of corrupt to slow things down and stalk, discordance to let you know where you can go to stalk 2 survivors and pressure that, deadlock slow things down, play with your food speeds you up, you stalk, get somebody out of the game as early as possible, and now it's a 3v1 while you stalk again. Usually you can more 2 people, and at that point the game's in the bag there. So by far the strongest, but again, we've got some rarer pieces there. These are a little easier to come by. And then the mirrors, you probably have a lot of those if you've been leveling up. So it's just kind of something different, something fun to play, something generic to play, and then the best build right here. So Myers is a lot of fun. Not the highest tier all the time, but you can play a lot of different ways, which is nice. So on to our next killer, we have the Hag. And with the Hag, we're a big fan of Hex Blood Favor. We like to block those pallets. She can struggle and chase sometimes. She's a little slow. You've got to use your traps, set up your web. But if we are going to be chasing, we like to have Blood Favor. Got to save the best for last as well to help with kind of that chasing. And then we've got Pentimento for some slowdown. Again, you want to set up your web early on. You want to kind of get that web going and push people into it. But then when you are forced to chase, you've got these perks to help out with that. And then once you get it down, set up that web around them and try to get some trades. We like any of the perks that increase speed of setting traps and teleportation range. There's a number of those. That's kind of what we'd go with. You can have some fun with body blocking Hag or item trapper Hag, things like that. And you also can really go different strategy here with more of a hit and run strategy, but this is definitely our favorite for the way that we play Hag. Moving on to Doctor. Doctor is by far the character we've got the most playtime on. Just a very generic, middle of the road killer that can use any perks, right? Having base kit information with his shock is fantastic. Some slowdown with the madness that helps out, goes a long way, and you can really slap any perks in there. We do recommend the discipline add-ons, and they have 3 tiers of those. So discipline we recommend. We do like restraint kind of second best, but they're all pretty good. The Eries are good. You have some interesting things that change the way his shocks work. A lot of good add-ons on the Doctor. So pick your favorites, whatever works best for you. Some people like different ones. They all do something a little bit different. So I'm not going to tell you that any are specifically best. We just like the illusionary red stain that you get. We think that helps in chase. And we also like the detonation delay change that the discipline adds in. So you kind of get muscle memory, you get used to that. So that's why that's our favorite. But any of them are good. When it comes to perks, like Discordance, just to let us know where to go. Save the best for last to speed us up. And then we've got some gen slowdown perks here. Jolt's great on an M1 killer. Merciless Storm works wonders when they're missing skill checks because of madness. Honestly, you could drop Discordance and go with a third. That could be Corrupt or something else. We just like save the best for last. If you don't like save the best for last, or you find yourself always hitting the obsession, then in a lot of these builds, especially the ones with no way out, you can throw no-ed on there and have a nice late game combo. So this perk could be another slowdown. This could be no-ed, but we like to pair no-ed with no way out if we're going to do that a lot of times, just for the added late game power boost there. So yeah, quick and simple, nice and easy. Some slowdown, save the best for last, and then either Discordance or another slowdown. Completely your call. Hopping over to the Cannibal, this is going to be very similar to Billy, right? You got your Bamboozle, You've got your gen perks, and we have Discordance here instead of Tinkerer. Tinkerer, the stealth, and being able to go cross map and get downs is helpful in Billy. Bubba plays different, so we like Discordance there just to let us know where to go, where to pressure. Obviously, Chili and Beast Markings are the best. There's different versions of Chilies, and there's also Knife Scratches. So you've got some lesser, some cheaper versions of these perks and yellows if you don't have the purple and the green. So you can make that work for yourself there. And this is a build that is just really solid, really basic. You got the Bamboozle because Bubba shreds pallets, but doesn't do a whole lot with windows. And then just your slowdown and info. So nice and simple, nice and easy build to play. And a lot of these perks you see in a lot of these different builds. So you got a lot of utility reusing some of these. The Nightmare, add-on wise, we like the red paintbrush, we like the unicorn block. Basically, this starts them in Dream World. They can't wake up with failed skill checks. They got to go with the alarm clocks, just some slowdown. This inflicts some blindness. He's got a lot of different add-ons that help. The Dream projection cooldown ones are good as well. The sketches, masterpiece, that kind of stuff. It's all really what works for you. You can do some fun stuff with extra 15 seconds of gates blocked with some late game builds. But really, the Nightmare Freddy's strength is his teleport while gens are up. So we're bringing a lot of gen slowdown. We're bringing Say the Best for Last to speed us up as we are a M1 killer. And then Discordance just so we don't let them double up, prove thyself, crank out gens. We want the gens up because we lose a big part of our kit when we get to the end game. So we want to keep gens up as long as possible. So that's just a very generic one that works for us. We used to recommend some builds with some hexes in them, but our hexes just don't stay up like they used to. So this is now kind of our default build for the Nightmare. With the Pig, again, you see a very default build here. 2 slowdown perks, Deadlock, and No Way Out. Don't require any kicking, any pressuring gens. They just work. Discords let you know where to go. Save the Best for Last speeds you up. And you can actually use your power to not have to hit the obsession with a basic attack. So one of our first killers that we've showcased that has a way other than just ignoring the obsession to get downs and hit the obsession without losing stacks. We like the videotape and rule set number 2 just to start them reverse bear traps and not let them see where to go. Provides a lot of early game slowdown, but the Pig's got a lot of good ones. You can go with creative gears to kind of speed yourself up and increase the search time. Then you can go with tampered timer to decrease the amount of time so they're searching longer and have less time to do it. You can get some nice head pops that way. But there's a lot of nice combinations in here and some cheaper versions of some of these rarer ones. You have some like this, information perks or add-ons. Just a lot of good stuff in here, but these are our favorites. And it's tough because the Pig, a lot of the purple red screens are the best. So it's hard to recommend real cheap versions because a lot of those have to deal with things like blindness or exhausted, or they have to do with crouch speed. So you're going to be spend a little bit of blood points in the web to get good add-ons, but basic killer with basic perk build is very good on her. The Clown, one of our favorites, our original main here. If you're going for the meanest build, the best build, you're bringing in the cheap gin bottle for those extra bottles. Counteract the downside of Redhead's Pinky Finger, which allows you to expose and one-hit survivors. And to go along with that one-hit nature, you've got Discordance to pressure gens, find multiple survivors, try to get Snowball, and then 3 gen perks, so you can mix those up. These are our favorite. But if we were going to say we're not running Redhead's Pinky Finger, which is by far the strongest, but is an ultra rare, we're a big fan of running extra bottles, even if it's the cheaper one. The Sticky Soda bottle. We like the increased spread. We also like the hindered flask of bleach. There's some good greens and yellows that you can use. And then we'd probably recommend keeping Jolt and one other, and then maybe dropping one of these slowdowns for Save the Best for Last, just to give you some extra help in chase. So you'd have Discordance, 3 slowdowns, Save the Best for Last, and your less expensive but less explosive add-ons there. Now with Spirit, the Mother-Daughter Ring and Cherry Blossom, Dried Cherry Blossom combo that speeds you up and gives you some killer instinct when you're within 4 meters of survivors are just great, right? They give you everything you want: mobility, speed, location, but they are ultra rare and very rare. But build wise, we like Sloppy Butcher. Keep them bleeding, keep them making noise so you can hear them. Discordance lets you know what gens to go to, and then we've got some slowdown. You can mix up whatever slowdown you have. That's the best build. Uh, we do like some different add-ons. Here's a Monstrous Shrine build, which is just about kind of getting them off gens. We do like the Amulet here and the Muddy Sports Cap, as well as good perks. And then you can kind of go with one of those kind of palette breaker builds as well with the White Hair Ribbon. And I'm not even going to attempt to say that because we'll butcher it. Basically just a recharge after pallet's done, so you can kind of keep going through pallets, maybe get some one-shot downs. So there are other builds you can run, but we like this generic build and just bring the best add-ons you have. These are by far the ones that change her the most, make her the strongest, but you can run some other ones just to help you out and practice your spirit skills. But she doesn't need a whole lot, right? You want to keep them injured, you want to be able to hear them, and then you need some slowdown. She can get quick downs that way, and that's all you really need. With the Legion, this is by far our favorite set of add-ons here. I know there's people that use a lot of the different buttons, they use the mixtapes and things like that. We like the stylish sunglasses and the etched ruler combo. This makes them oblivious, and then this allows you to see them when they're mending. So you play more of a hit and run strategy. You're not going for the full 5 hit down. You're really trying to injure 1 or 2, and then when they go to mend, get those nice easy downs. You've got Jolt for your slowdown, Lethal to get you in a chase early. You've got No Way Out for additional time in the match, and then play with your food. You can farm some stacks just to speed you up and end chases faster. Legion's very good at getting injures, not so good at getting actual downs. So this build just revolves around getting you into chase and then getting downs while kind of stalling out the game. So that's what it's all about, and that's our favorite build there and the strongest that we've come across. What else we got here? This is kind of a similar one here, that instead of running some of these speed up and slow down perks, we still have some slowdown, but we've got I'm All Ears to kind of help you out when they're in loops, and the rest is kind of the same, though we do prefer this build. With the Plague, we just like information, we like some slowdown, and double apples are probably the best add-ons, right? These start you with additional pools that are already corrupted, and this one increases the number of pools, so it allows you to just have 2 or 3 pools to start, so you can start entering people if they're all grouped up, and you know you can get some value out of it with lethal. And then otherwise you go about playing that normal play game, keeping things effective, getting everybody sick, and this just helps you have some slowdown and then a lot of information. Just nice and easy, simple build, and these aren't hard to come by either. With Ghostface, this is the build we like because outdoor security camera, it reveals the aura of the survivors for 7 seconds when you mark a survivor and then down them. So that's info. And then you have this one that is basically like an I'm All Ears on a stick when survivors are marked. So these are aura reading. You've got Lethal Pursuer for aura. Then you just got some slowdown. If you don't want to bring these add-ons or don't have them, because at least one of them is ultra rare, then what you can definitely do is you could drop one of these 3 kind of slowdown perks, and you could throw on a barbecue and chili, or you could throw on a discordance, and then you're in good shape to run something else here to kind of help out while having some slowdown and some information. We like lethal. Lethal just sets you up for those early stalks, early downs. So good. And the rest is slowdown and some sort of way to find survivors. You don't have a ton of mobility as the Ghostface, so you need to know where to go next, be efficient with your time. But you also want to kind of slow things down, get those marks and those downs when you can. And then once people are out of heals and scrambling a little bit, Sloppy Butcher keeps them injured, so then you can just get those easy one-hit downs even without marking survivors. We're doing pretty well here. We're about 25 minutes in, and we're getting close to halfway through. Demogorgon, this is a build that we find works for us, but you could mix it up here. With Demo, you can definitely run some sort of make your choice, portal the basement or wherever, corner of the map, and then go back and bling like Floods of Rage, Lethal, Scourge Pain Resonance, and make your choice. But this is the build that we like. Easy, common add-ons. You bring the decreased shred cooldown, and You can do movement speed. We also like what's the other one? We like Muse Guts, which is decreased shred and miss cooldown. So you have the miss and the hit cooldown. Just basically save the best for last in add-on form. Slow down in the beginning of the game, slow down at the end of the game, slow down in the middle of the game. And then we like Plaything as slowdown. They've got to cleanse those tokens, or else it makes your chases easier. So these are perks we really like, and it allows you to just slow the game down, use your portals for information, and to move around the map, and shreds to shred through pallets. If you miss or hit, you get a little extra cooldown, and then you just kind of start chipping away at the game. Like we said, I think we have, well, this is a make your choice build here, the exact one we listed. That's another very strong build. Then you can also go with a Devour Hope, protect the Hex Totem build as well. So these are the three we recommend. A lot of strength if you commit to that, but this takes a lot of commitment to not let them cleanse that. This is a little easier to pull off, but you got to get value out to make your choice, or it's not really worth it. And this one's just more of a generic strong build on the Demogorgon. So three builds there for you, and varying degrees of rarity on the add-ons. So depending on what you have, definitely make these work. So the only one that's near and dear to our heart, you can see with our Minotaur skin here, is one that we play a lot and like to look good while doing. Our favorite build here is lethal. Get you in a chase early. Try to get 1 or 2 injures to get that blood flowing so you can start chaining your powers. And we have Dead Man Switch, Floods of Rage, and Pain Resonance. And this basically allows us to get early down, hopefully, or just some blood pulling up into a power, get some downs, run around the map, push them off gens. And then when they do get the unhook, we can see where to go next with Floods of Rage. Real simple there. By far our favorite build and one of the strongest. A little weaker with Pain Res now, but you can lock gens for quite a while just by patrolling gens in your power, and then know where to go when they get the unhook. We like any of the duration add-ons, and we like the Wooden Oni Mask. There are purple versions that are better. These are the easier ones to find. This just makes it easier to get your power, and this makes it last a little bit longer. The speed add-ons can be good as well. Movement speed add-ons, but you got to get used to them. It changes the way he plays. And then also the activation time add-ons, things like that, can help just save you time throughout the game. But these are our favorite there. Here's another generic one, Tinkerer, some slowdown, Discordance. This kind of just tells you where to go, and this slows the game down. You can go with something like this. Leaves you with, we think, a little bit more downtime sometimes in this build, but definitely a solid build might work better for you. And then this is one we were just messing around with. This is more of an old school Modern Abuse barbecue pop build. These are the rarer, very rare add-ons we were talking about. So a couple options for you there, but this is by far our favorite. One we've had the most success with, and the one we think is the strongest. You got a lot of location, and you've got some slowdown, and you've got insta down. So got a lot going for you if you're playing Oni. Slinger is probably, when we're awake and focused and hitting shots, our favorite killer to play, and this is by far our favorite build. We always bring Jolt. Jolt works out so well in Deathslinger with being able to reel them in and use just a basic attack and M1 attack. We like Pain Res. Basically for us, it's kind of like pop on a stick. This could be something like Deadlock or No Way Out if you prefer, but to slow down, we like to save the best for last. Again, basic attacks when you reel them in, so this really speeds you up. And then we're trying out this solution, so that way, if they try a W key, save the best for last helps us out. If they try to stick around a loop, then Dissolution breaks those pallets for us. So this is kind of our chase package and our slowdown package. This could be Discordance if you just want to pressure gens more, find people, and you're willing to just, like, I shouldn't say greed. The survivors are going to try to greed, but if you're going to try to just run headfirst in the pallets, kick them, break them, move on, then you can run Discordance instead. And then we like for add-ons, any of the miss cooldown add-ons and the reload time add-ons. I think there are brown and green versions, so bring what you got. This is a build we really like. Like we said, if the solution's not working for you, Discordance can be a great location perk, or it could just be a third slowdown, something like Corrupt Intervention, just to allow you to have a slow start and bounce back. Executioner, this is probably the easiest one on there. We feel that the Executioner really has 2 add-ons that are worth running. They're the range add-ons. Luckily, they're a green and a yellow, so nothing too rare. And then when it comes to Executioner, because of the cages, they have a very unique set of kind of rules they have to play by. We don't love perks that require hooking because it's inconsistent. Sometimes it will be right to hook. Other times you're going to want to get that cage, save that time, and you don't want to miss a critical pop or other perk that requires hooking because you couldn't hook in that circumstance. Maybe there's a flashlight around you, you got a cage, so they don't get the save. So we like this build. You got lethal to kind of start things off, get you in the chase early. I'm all ears to help out with your snipes, figure out where people are after they fast fall, they're trying to get away from you. Combos up well, and then you just have some slowdown that doesn't require hooking, right? Doesn't require kicking gens. Mobility is a bit of an issue for Executioner. His strength is really chase, so we have stuff to help out with chase. And then we just have stuff to buy some extra time in the game to draw things out and hopefully win and finish more of those chases than we lose and get those survivors out of the game. So nice and straightforward build here. You could run Discordance here if you're not finding a ton of use out of I'm all ears, or you decide that you're getting really good at predicting where survivors are going to run, so this doesn't really help you. You're just going to take your flicks on instinct. Then something like Discordance can really help you know where to kind of go pressure then. But that's our recommendation there. It served us well in the past. With the Blight, you'll see another one of these kind of generic nurse, huntress, quality killer builds. Info to slow down, boom, ready to go. And then we've got the speed rush add-ons and just reveal survivors. This again gives us more aura reading, gives us a little bit more speed. Blight's got a ton of good add-ons. We put kind of the easy, accessible ones that you probably have a ton of, but honestly, Compound 33s and a bunch of these other ones, Alchemist Ring, there are a ton of add-ons that are good with Blight. Use what works best for you, and you kind of tailor the build around that. But real generic, strong build here. Honestly, you could go, instead of this, if you don't need the aura reading, you can go with Bloody Crow just for more speed, traveling across the map, that kind of thing. But tons of good add-ons, and doesn't need a lot, right? Blight's kit is so good on its own. The add-ons are so good. You can run a real generic but strong build and do very well. You also could end up cutting one of these info perks for a third slowdown if you're finding gens going too fast. A lot of options there. With the twins are a tough one, but you'll see kind of, I think this build is very similar to what we were running on Pig. You just have your slowdown. You have perks that kind of show you where they're at and give notifications even when you're using Victor. And then you have Sloppy Busher to help keep them injured. Big Victor, more of a menace. He's not going to get backpacked across the map. He's going to get downs. So just a simple build, but a build we like that we think works really well with the twins. And then Unbind Time, House Charge Time, anything that saves you time. Add-ons like that, like the Toy Sword and the Tiny Fingernail, are just good. These are the cheap versions. You can run some of the other ones, but this is a build that we just love, right? Sometimes you won't be able to get to a certain part of the map with Charlotte to use certain perks to regress gens, anything that revolves around kicking. So we want perks that work the best with Victor, perks that slow down the game still while we're using Victor, and these three do that. And then Discord gives us the info that we need, even if we're with Victor. It allows you really to like half off the map and to kind of juggle the two twins to the best effect. So kind of like the Executioner, the twins have a certain set of build restrictions you got to work with, and we think this kind of tackles that little bit of a dilemma that you have with having essentially two killers you're trying to work in tandem. Trickster, we'll start with the add-ons just because there's these two and then there's two cheaper versions. Basically throw rate and movement speed while you're throwing blades. Those add-ons we think are the best. They're not huge percentages, but they make a difference. And then we just like barbecue and chili for the aura reading, just so we know where to kind of go next. You could swap this out with some of the other ones, but this is kind of the most consistent, we think. Then you've just got some slowdown, beginning, end game, that combo we talked about with the No Ed and No Way Out, just to buy you a little bit longer end game and try to snowball at the end. So real generic build, but we think it works. There's some hex builds with Blood Favor and other things that can be very good on Trickster, but as soon as they're gone, you're kind of perkless then. So we like this, and you're just trying to piece together quick downs. Trickster excels at very quick downs, so you're trying to piece those together while slowing the game down. And then if things go bad, you've got the end game to kind of rely on. So Nemi, we're probably about, what, 2/3, 3/4 of the way through our killers. So we're on to Nemesis. Nemesis, another one of those generic builds similar to Pig, and not one perk off, I guess, from the twins. But you got Save the Best for last. You can use the Tentacle to hit the Obsession and break pallets, things like that. Awesome. Gather up stacks, Save the Best for last to speed you up. And you got Slowdown and a little bit of information to find where you're going. Very solid build. And Discordance also works with the AI of the zombies. So, like Victor, it's a perk that works with those guys. So, that's awesome. And then you have stuff just to help slow down the game and in chase. Add-on wise, he's got a lot of good ones. You have some that help speed up your mutation, others that speed up the zombies or do other cool things. Run what you like here. I don't think there's any super best add-ons with the Nemesis. There's just a lot of good ones, and pick what works for your playstyle. All right, Pinhead, the Cenobite. What do we recommend here? This one's pretty easy. We like Hoarder. We like to know where to go. We're just pausing our phone here as people try to text us, so we don't have that interrupting there. We just like to be able to know where to go, try to get that box if we didn't find it on our own. And then we've got a little bit of slowdown on them solving the box to let us try to get there and take it. Then we also have the Tortured Pillar to just get the chain hunts activating more often. Generic slowdown that doesn't require any work from us. And then just a little bit of no-ed for the late game. So perk build that we really like there. These are kind of some of our favorite add-ons. We've messed around with Dead Man Switch and Pain Resonance in the past, but with being able to kind of snowball those less, we don't know if it's as good. So this used to be one of our favorite builds, but I think this is kind of what we're sticking with these days. The real power, and we'll come back here real quick, the real power with Pinhead is the box, the chain hunt, so we're trying to work around that. And then we've kind of got some slowdown and a plan B if that doesn't work, if we get a coordinated team. You can bring some of the iridescent add-ons. There's some good ones here where they can't see the box and other things. But these are relatively affordable ones that you may have a lot of. The Artist, one that we don't see very often, but we did spend a lot of time playing with. We like Discordance, and then we like this combination of Slowdown, Dead Man Switch, Deadlock, and Pain Resonance. And really that is because you have range with the Artist, right? So Deadlock just does the thing. Discordance lets you know where to go. These will regress people and push them off gens. And then also, when this is active, you can send some crows at different gens. When they get off, those are locked up. So very powerful at shutting down gens. And then we just have some that, some add-ons that inflict exhausted, so you don't have to deal with exhaustion perks. And then pass along the swarmed crows. So these we think are the best. There's some other good ones in here as well. The inked eggs we like. Some couple other ones here that we like as well. The thorny nest is basically your sloppy butcher in add-on form there. There's some good ones, but this build's been real good at just being able to lock down gens, know where to go, and then when you're in chase, these perks can be pretty good at making things happen. So that's our favorite build for Artist and what we think is one of her strongest. All right, with the Unreal, this is another one of those killers that has different play styles. If we are just chasing, these add-ons are just kind of more memey with the blindness and the oblivious status effect. You can run other add-ons. There's other good ones here. Ones that increase your duration of undetectable when you manifest. There's a couple different good ones that you can run. But Sloppy Butcher, Jolt, perks that are good on M1 killers are good on her. Discordance lets you know where to go. Save the best for last. Again, perk that speeds you up, good on M1 killers. So kind of a generic build there. Add-ons can be kind of what you want them to be. And then the other way to play Unreal is the condemned version, where you're trying to condemn people more and get them out of the game. With that, you want the ring drawing and the tape editing deck. Discordance kind of lets you know where to change the pressure, save the best for last, speeds you up, and allows you to, I think with 3 stacks, stop them from putting tapes in. So you can continue to build that condemned. Fearmonger just helps you in chase, so they can't use any exhaustion effects as soon as they get off of gens, and then Jolt is just more slow down there. So condemned build, and then this is more of a generic kind of chasing build. We like both of those, highly recommend. And we also do like a make your choice kind of build with our scourge hooks for info, slow down, lethal to pair with this. Get somebody down, hopefully with the help of this. put them on a hook, you get away. When they get saved, go get the unhooker, get those exposed status effect one-shot downs. This gives you some bonuses to your manifesting coming out of TVs, and it's a nice combo. So some very good builds here. This was our favorite for a long time. We've been playing the condemned build a lot more, and this works well. And this is also just a good generic build for the Unreal. All right, the Dredge, we're getting here towards the end. The Dredge is one that you can play a lot of different ways. This is more of a generic build. We got slowdown, info and stealth, late game. Like that one a lot. The Dredge, like WRAITH and Demo and the Unreal, can also utilize a make your choice build. You can use Jolt and Pain Res as your slowdown, Floods of Rage to pair with this, and then we just have some Nightfall add-ons just to help with the most powerful part of his kit, which is Nightfall, but easy one-shot downs again. We got this generic build, and this one is just a Hex build that we were having some fun with as well. So recommend a generic build. Then if you're feeling spicy, we do like to make your choice build. He's one of the better killers for utilizing make your choice. We'd probably say almost second best behind Demo. All right, we got the Mastermind, so we're on our last three here, and this one you'll see we're leaving a perk out here. So if you want the true best build, we like the Iridescent Ouroboros Vial. Starts them infected. They become exposed when they become fully infected for 30 seconds. That's not just to your M2, that is just to M1 hits as well. So really powerful in conjunction with lethal, with like corrupt, with like pain res, and then this second perk slot here, which is actually the fourth perk, but that could be an additional info perk, something like barbecue, if you would like to play kind of double slowdown, double info for your chases. But if you're running something like the helicopter stick, where when they first aid you're getting information, then you might not want this. You might just want a third slowdown. That could be something like Pop. It could be something like Deadlock. It could be something like No Way Out. So you can really load up on the regression or gen perks, and then rely on your add-ons and lethal for some lethality. So that's one build that is probably the best, but you might not always have ultra rare and very rare add-ons. So in that case, if you don't have those, you can go Mimi with a fun kind of palette smashing build. But if we're going for best builds, I recommend the Egg, just to increase the window for your bounds, a little bit of speed movement, and this is one where we just like slow down early, middle, late game. And then we love Hex Plaything. Hex Plaything is a great chase perk. This could be something else if you don't like Plaything. But Plaything helps in slowdown. They got to go cleanse the totems. And then it also just helps if they don't cleanse and chase with the Oblivious status effect. So this is our favorite build with some easier to get add-ons. If we're talking true max strength, you probably want this add-on and helicopter stick, and then maybe a third slow down there. We're going to throw in like Deadlock, or if you're going with the double info perks, then maybe you want some more slowdown with the video conference device, which just passes on infection a little bit quicker. So you can either go add-ons for info and slow down in the perks, or you can go more info in the perks and a little bit more slowdown in the add-ons. Hopping over the Knight. The Knight's 3-gen strategy is a lot weaker with the change to the perks, but we still do like Overcharge, Merciless Storm, Unnerving Presence to provide some shenanigans with the gens. Say the best for last to speed up our Knight, and then having the jailers as the guard more often to really shut down things. You can really control an area with this build. So it's our favorite build right now. We're experimenting a lot with the Knight though, so this may change in a future update. We're trying to work on some more chase-oriented builds, sneak attack builds with the assassins, with discordance. But this is one that we're really liking right now, even with the change here. Just thanks to some of these perks, you still get a lot of value out of Overcharge. So best we can recommend right now, but that is a work in progress. And same thing with the Skull Merchant. M1 killer, so we like Joel for slowdown, No Ed for some late game, Corrupt for the early game, Save the Best for last, speeds are up. So build we definitely like here, pretty generic. We're trying out some of these order reading and battery life add-ons for the claw traps, just because having claw traps on them is so clutch, allows them to break pallets when you're chasing them, and then being able to have a little bit extra info to know where to go is nice as well. So we're trying this one out. But again, she's newish, so we're still working on figuring out the best build for the Skull Merchant. So that is right. Skull Merchant is the newest. We're back to the Trapper there. We're not losing our minds. That is kind of our recommendations on best or some of the better builds for every single one of the killers. We're going to add timestamps in, so if you want to find specific killers, you can look down for the timestamps. But try to keep these as short as possible. Hopefully we didn't talk too fast and you could follow along. But we're right around the 45-minute mark. So this is something that we'll do occasionally. We'll do some updates, and we may go through and start doing some actual videos for each killer, highlighting these builds, showing them in action. But right now, this is a nice little resource for you to just find some builds to try out. So if any of these work out well for you, let us know in the comments. If any of these absolutely suck and you're like, what are you thinking, man? Add that in the comment as well. But appreciate you guys stopping by, and hopefully you find some fun in these builds. I'm Smig. I'm signing off. Take care. Have a good night. And hopefully we see you in the comments or in the fog in the near future.